What else is going on? The microphone is good. I am going to go ahead and crack myself. That. Let's get frisky, ladies and gents. Here we go. Boys of summer, our days are numbered, but take heart. You have 2 weeks left of thong bikinis splitting thick tan cheeks. You also have a fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap. It's starting right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
I don't know. Did I sound like a douche doing that intro there? I have no idea. I always sound like a fucking douche. I am a douche. I am Mike Montone. This is the Savage Sack Tap. How are we doing? The lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer here are drawing to a close. They will soon be in the rearview mirror. I got to drink these summery beers while I still can. Soon you got to switch to the darker stuff when it gets chilly out. But we got football season coming up, so I got a big fat boner for that. White women everywhere are getting big fat boners for pumpkin spice lattes, and they get to pretend that they like football to impress the guy that they met on Bumble or Hinge or whatever the fuck, when they claim to be a Giants fan in their profile and they can't even identify a fucking cover two, and they don't know which team is kicking off or receiving, and they're all fucking idiots. And then what do? They spend from September's still a little hot. I feel like it happens right around early November, maybe mid-October, when those football tailgate meals and beers and all that shit start adding the pounds that they work so hard to get rid of before the summer swimsuit season, and then they just start throwing on the hoodies and the sweats, and it's a disgusting mess, and they let their bodies go to shit. But at least the self-confidence is down too when that happens. So you single fellas out there can do a little slump busting if you need to. Throwback to last week's episode of the Savage Sack Tap, which you can find at thesavagecrew.libsyn.com and anywhere else that podcasts are downloaded, I think. Well, maybe not anywhere else. A lot of places. Check the top of the Facebook page, facebook.com/thesavagecrew, and most of our links are up there. But anyway, I am getting off track here. I will miss summer, but I'm looking forward to. I like October. That's a cool month. We'll have the fucking what do? We do a Halloween's the holiday that we celebrate in October. Yeah, I'm a fucking moron. We'll have a Halloween episode. We'll probably do it. We'll do it live. Maybe, I don't know. I got a sweet new camera here, so maybe I'll produce it. I gotta figure that out. And then you get to watch Scream. You get to watch Drew Barrymore and Rose McGowan get their fucking tits hacked off. I think one of them dies in like a garage door or some shit. She gets killed by the garage door. I don't know. I forget. I watch that movie like once a year, so I'm a little thin on the plot points. But I'm looking forward to it. I love seeing a screaming blonde get hacked up by a murderous villain. Love a good teen slasher movie. Love a good teen barely legal movie. I don't understand people who hate summer though. Like I'm sad to see summer go. You got there's just the thick fat ass cheeks all over the goddamn place, and coronavirus fucked us out of sundress season in Midtown, which is like it's the best it's the best time of year. You walk around Manhattan in the spring and summer, and there's just New York City level top-notch ass walking around in like those clingy cotton sundresses that curve the inner cheek, and you get a little preview, and it's awesome. People who don't like the only reason not to like summer is if you have a disgusting body, I feel like. Drink a fucking protein shake. I do understand why people don't like New York City specifically during the summer. It absolutely reeks of piss. The corner of 41st Street and 6th Ave by the Whole Foods there's a little camp where I guess the homeless guys sleep at night because they're like benches and everything and no one disturbs them. But you can just smell the urine baking into the sidewalk. Very, very gross. And open air defecation is once again in vogue. People are rioting. The other day I was crossing the street by Port Authority at like 8th, it was like 8th and 42nd, and this fucking guy, he was one of those guys who, he's clearly Caucasian, but he talks with that kind of ghetto or like hip-hop affectation, like, yo, like he drops a lot of N-bombs very casually, and he was threatening to cut people's hands off with his blade, which I thought was an interesting choice of words. If you're gonna threaten someone with your blade, you better be either, like, I don't even know who has a blade. Fucking Zorro and the guy who chops people's hands off for the Saudi royal family. But it was one of those weird interactions because we were probably about like 15 feet parallel from each other crossing the street, and he was just shouting about chopping people's hands off with a blade, and I had no idea whatsoever if it was directed at me. Or anyways, it's Midtown, so they're like, even now with coronavirus and all that weird shit, there are people around. But you don't want to, like, if someone's shouting, "Hey, I'm gonna cut your hands off with my blade," you don't necessarily want to look in their direction and ask for clarification if you're the one whose hands are going to be the target of said blade. So I just I made my way across the street and got into the Port Authority, which is filled with cops with guns who are eager to use them. But what a throwback New York City is becoming to the 1980s and early 90s. I wonder if it's like maybe things are just cyclical. Like they say, fashion's cyclical. Is the life of a city cyclical as well? Like is it like now that New York City's been prosperous forever and it's become this like kind of capital of finance and tourism and they're just the Times Square, which was once where you would go to maybe jack off in a movie theater or get your dick sucked through a hole in the wall after buying crack out on the street. Is it that those activities are going to become en vogue again, and no one wants to go to Bubba Gump Shrimp. No one wants to go to what's the fucking the pasta place? What the fuck? I can't remember the Olive Garden. No one wants to go to the appetites for those things have gone down. People are getting more back into taking a shit on the sidewalk. Like I said, jerking off in a movie theater, maybe stabbing a stranger with your blade, shooting someone with a snub-nosed revolver, and then taking their wallet out of their pocket while they bleed out on the street. Maybe those are just cyclical tastes, and what people thought the bad old days things got cleared up in the 80s and after the 80s and 90s. Maybe it wasn't so much that the anti-crime policies were working, and maybe it was simply that, once every couple, decades, 30, 40 years or whatever, people are going to look back somewhat wistfully, a little nostalgic, and they're going to say, you know what, I remember, we used to go to 42nd Street and come all over the back of the movie seat in front of us while we were watching Debbie Does Dallas or what have you. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. If I'm not saying that I want New York to plummet back into the bad old days, but what I am saying is that would it be the worst thing in the world if everybody was doing cocaine and the Mets won the World Series and you could get your dick sucked through a hole in the wall? Because those things sound kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like, doing cocaine is a blast. That's, just confirmed. Haven't seen the Mets win a fucking World Series literally since the 1980s. And, a little bit of risk getting your dick sucked through the hole in the wall. You may feel the bristles of a mustache on the other side, but who knows? I've seen plenty of footage online of my favorite lady porn stars sucking hog through a glory hole. So you find the right place. An entrepreneur will set up a glory hole for every oral occasion. I guess you can't eat pussy through a glory hole. How would you do that? It would have to be, I guess, a bigger hole that you kind of fit your chin through, get to the other side, and eat some chick's box. Something for you guys to work on out there. Maybe get that. That would be fun on Shark Tank. I think pitching a female glory hole to the sharks. You can eat pussy through a wall. I would eat the fuck if. Because you don't want to. You're gonna get some bad vaginas in there too. I'm thinking I love eating a box, and that would be like a great side job to just be like the guy who eats pussy at a glory hole. But yeah, I worry about what kind of vaginas would be coming through there. Anyway, there has been a considerable amount of arguing of the big question: is New York City dead? And Seinfeld wrote the first James Altucher wrote an article. And that was went up in the New York Post, I think, and then Seinfeld wrote one in the Times, and everyone's going back and forth, and people are arguing on Twitter: is New York City dead? Is it coming back? Is it alive? God's not dead. Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on the whole thing. Like, obviously, New York is a very established major world city. So to a degree, I don't know if it can ever die. But then I was listening to Adam and Dr. Drew this morning, and they're like, yeah, Detroit used to be fucking huge, but Detroit died. But then they're like, all right, yeah, well, Detroit only had one industry, and that was automotive. So if you can bring a lot of New York stuff, like Facebook, I think just bought some space in the city, and Google and a couple other tech companies. So if in a few months all this bullshit clears up and the tech and finance people are like, yeah, we're still going to operate out of New York, then I guess it'll slowly come back. I mean, we came back from 9/11 and Sandy and shit, and I don't know if you weren't in the city right after Sandy. I was going in every day for work, and the all of the transit path and everything like that, a lot of that the flooding in the tunnels and everything, it took them forever to clear out. So a lot of that stuff was it was a good year or so after the storm that it was still fucked up. Maybe even longer. It might have been something like year and a half, 2.5. But I will say that seeing the city stripped away of its sort of charms, I guess is the best way to put them. Like I was saying before, we lost out on sundress season, which sucks, and it looks like we're gonna miss out on some of the fine butt cheeks of yoga pants season, and then you get into the other stuff, the sports, the comedy clubs. If indoor dining doesn't reopen, then people aren't gonna once. It turns October in this area. You get a few beautiful days, but you also get a lot of fucking rainy, cloudy, miserable shit days. So if you're a restaurant owner and you were only scraping by serving people outdoor seating, and they were really only coming because they wanted to be able to drink booze, and you're looking at what are you going to get? Say you get 2/3 of October, you get nice enough days to have outdoor seating. November rolls around, and I think you're kind of fucked, right? Because it's going to start getting cold after that. Like, what are you going to put outdoor heating and shit out there? But even then, it starts where you get nothing lasts forever in the cold November rain, as Axl Rose might say. So I don't, no one's going to eat your fucking chicken fingers outside just so they can catch a public buzz. So yeah, I don't know on that end, but for me it was more confirmation that I want to move away from the fucking city. Not New Jersey. Like New Jersey, I think New Jersey is a fucking awesome place. But like, if you can, I know people who commute to the city from the fucking Poconos. So, like, why wouldn't you just move, like, live down the shore? You could be by the ocean. People down there's a lot more people like working out and stuff. There's great bars and restaurants. It's beautiful. You could live feet away from the Atlantic Ocean, not have a fucking a homeless guy taking a shit in the middle of the sidewalk. If you just because you want to go out to a restaurant or whatever. Like even in my neighborhood in Jersey City, like we have there are a few guys that they literally just stand on the corner getting fucking hammered all day. Like the other night I was coming in, I had dinner over at a friend's place, and I was walking back. It was like midnight, and I'm coming coming into like the little alley between the building I live in and the building next to me, so I can go into the side door. And there's some fucking guy passed out on the fucking sidewalk. I step over him, and he's like, oh, he like apologized and scurried away. I'm like, yeah, this is living in a fucking dense urban. Manhattan's a rat and roach infested shithole. Where so you add into that open air defecation and guys threatening to cut people's hands off with their blades. So you understand why people are getting the fuck out. Like I know one of the guys I work with was chased down the street by this massive fucking. He looks like. The guy looked like if you were to be kidnapped on like a desert island in the Caribbean by a group of modern day pirates. That's what he looked like. He was just this jacked black dude with sort of dread looking hair, and he was carrying a baseball bat. So yeah, you totally understand why people want to get the fuck out of New York City. Like the whole, New York sucks its own dick like no other, and at this point it can just go, it can only go so far. Like what do you do? Like now that it used to be New York like sucked its, I'd almost feel like I'm trying to come up with the correct self-sucking analogy, but it's almost like now we've walked in on New York City laying on its back, doubled over with a broken neck and its own cock in its mouth. And it's like, you see, I told you New York's been sucking its own dick forever, and now it's dead. Yeah, but I think it'll return eventually, because like I said, just like jacking off in a movie theater, getting your dick sucked through a hole in the wall, tastes are cyclical. There's still going to be kids from Iowa who have those dreams of making it big. Like, I think Broadway will still be a thing. So if you're a kid, you want to make it big on Broadway, you do still have to come to the area. So I guess it'll clear out. It'll be almost like a changing of the gentrifying guard. So, yeah, people come in, they'll take advantage of some lower prices. There will be demands that the police finally do crack down on people shitting, pissing, and jacking off all over the goddamn sidewalk. And they will, and it'll become nice again. And then people will get mad that it got too nice, and they'll destroy it again like they did this summer. And then the crack and the shitting and the jacking off and all that'll return, and the cycle of life will go on. C'est la vie. Yeah. Anyway, New York City is not the only place where people have been defecating publicly lately. Big shout out to my hometown of Glen Rock, New Jersey. Glen Rock recently played host to a public shitting at none other than Bottle King, the liquor store where. So, buying booze back home was an interesting thing. So Bottle King is not where we would go to buy underage. We would go to buy underage. We had to go to Patterson. We would go to this place. It was called Segundo's. I think it was like 5th and Madison or something like that. In a place in Patterson where people who look like me at the age of fucking 16, 17 should not be going. Especially not at night. And getting out of the car with cash in hand. Yeah. So we would go there, and you would have to get the alcohol. They would give you, you'd give them the money through this like little rotating like drawer thing. Like you'd put the cash in, they'd turn it around, they'd take the cash, they would put your order on the tray, and they would turn it back around like it was a little lazy Susan to give you your booze. And it wasn't the beer wasn't in like a case, like a 30 rack like you would expect. It came in like these it was like a brown cardboard tray of 6-packs, which I've only ever seen at another similar liquor store. If you're in Atlantic City, there's a place called what's the fucking strip club? It's Bare Exposure in Atlantic City, and it's open. If it's not 24 hours, it's got to be open until like 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. Because we used to go there after. We'd go there after last call at whatever club we were at. We'd go get something to eat, and then like clockwork, before the check came during snack time, someone would be like, "Hey, why don't we go hit up Bear X and look at some titties?" So we would go to we'd go there, and there was a like a little like ghetto ass bar next door where you could do the same thing. You buy one of these like slim cardboard 30 racks, and then you go next door. And Bear X is a BYO strip club, so you sit by. You literally just you post up in front of the stage, and they have these very ridiculously nice, comfortable chairs there, like these big fucking like armchairs. And you post up with your beers, and you and your buddies just hammer beers at like 4 or 5 a.m. and you watch Atlantic City's most hood rat strippers clap their cheeks for your entertainment. I know the last time we were there was towards the end of my time at the basic school in Quantico. We drove up for a weekend, and one of my buddies, he was just shithouse. Gets up, he has to take a piss. He's stumbling around, doesn't know where the fuck he's going, and bumps into the stage and just slumps over and passes out on top of the stage, like using the stage to support himself like a pillow until he was escorted out by security personnel. I like that place though because they're used to such rougher behavior. They'll like a kid passed out on the stage is no biggie. They literally just like, get out, we'll get him out of here. No, it's okay. This happens, and they just kind of plop him on the sidewalk. But yeah, Bottle King is where you go to buy. It's Christmas. Your parents are preparing the house for Christmas dinner, and they realize they need an extra case of beer, so they send you out for some Sierra Nevada Celebration. It's a good beer. It's good ale. I like Sierra Nevada. It's where you run into like teachers and people's parents and all that shit, which makes it even funnier that somebody decided to take a big fat public shit there, because it's the exact same place where your friend's mom is going to be going to buy like an overpriced bottle of chilled Chardonnay for her ladies' wine and cheese gathering that night. She's going to be stepping through a spot that was just disinfected because a riled up customer squatted and dropped a big deuce on the floor. Here is the quote from the Fairlawn patch, I believe it is. The male customer had asked to use the restroom in the store. The customer was advised that it was not possible due to COVID-19 restrictions. Sorry, I'm choking on my own dick here. The man proceeded to defecate on the floor of a store aisle and left the building. And I like that the patch lets us know that this was in violation of a borough ordinance preventing urinating or defecating in public view. I like that. Like it wasn't just assumed that kind of behavior was frowned upon. No, we're reminding you that this is in fact in writing, that you can't take a shit in the middle of a liquor store in the suburbs. Yeah, I love it. Right, like if there was no law in place and you were just dropping a deuce on the sidewalk, and someone tried to call the cops on you, you could accuse them of being like a pervert or a peeping tom. And frankly, dogs do it, so why the fuck can't we, right? Why doesn't someone march for that? Maybe that's why de Blasio's allowing it in New York City. Maybe he's just trying to set a new standard. Public defecation is a human right. No justice, no peace. If the protesters were marching to defend my right to drop a big deuce in front of Gracie Mansion, I'll be honest, I'd probably join. I'd throw a rock or two. I'd take a shit. I feel like it's my generation has moved on from Glen Rock, so it's not like you wonder about this. You're like, I wonder if it could have been like when I was growing up, if you had told me that someone took a shit in Bottle King, I would have immediately started going through my mental Rolodex of people that I went to high school with, saying, okay, who could have done this? But now I'm like, oh, I wonder if it was like a vagrant or something. But no, we were big. We loved a good shit prank when I was growing up. I remember someone. It was like maybe my sophomore year going into my junior year, or my junior year going into my senior year. Someone took a shit in the urinals in the boys' locker room, and I remember our track coach was furious. And I don't think it was anyone on the team, but it was like one of those like, if anyone in here knows a goddamn thing about who took a shit in the urinals, you better fess up now, because I guess a few weeks earlier there had been a big wrestling match at a nearby school, and someone took a shit in the shower, in the locker room, and I guess it was a big scandal. Maybe it was our school. I remember a shit being taken in the shower, preceding a shit being taken in the urinal, and that was why they were like super pissed about the fact that someone had shit in the urinal, because I don't know why I said urinal like a fucking chode. Urinal. Someone took a shit in the urinal, so that, like, it was a time when I guess they had already impressed upon us the need to be vigilant about people defecating in the locker room, and someone got in there and squeezed one out and slipped it by, and I guess a coach or a janitor stumbled upon it. And that was that. But yeah, when I was in middle school, somebody got into some kids who were older than us. Got into the high school principal's office, and I think they took a shit on the desk, and they jerked off, and they pissed all over the walls, and they drank a couple beers in there. It was like on like a Saturday. Oh, so many good shit stories from back in the day. I remember double sessions my junior year for football practice. This freshman just all of a sudden bailed out of fucking practice, and everyone's like, yo, what the fuck's going on? And it turned out that he had to take a shit really badly, so he ran. The practice field is probably about a good quarter, I don't know, it was a quarter mile, 300 meters from the locker room, and they lock those things up during the day when the teams are out on the field, because they don't want some ne'er-do-well breaking into the school. And there was this ramp you would have to go down to get into the locker room, and I remembered the kid. I don't want to say what his name was in case, because I know a lot of people from my hometown are among the list. I shouldn't say a lot of people, because I can't even say that a lot of people listen to this, but of my modest listenership, a significant portion are from my hometown, so I don't want to give it away, but or too much. But he does share a name with a famous sportscaster. But in any case, I guess he made it to the ramp at least, because the ramp was covered in shit, and he was nowhere to be seen when we got back. So I don't know if. I guess the prevailing theory is that he just shit on the ramp and then pulled chalks and went home, and I guess yeah, I don't remember what the. It's weird that you don't get the. Maybe I did get the resolution to it because I was like 16 and I had jerking off and 4-3 defenses and all sorts of other stuff on my mind. I just didn't. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, yeah, that guy took a shit on the ramp outside the locker room, and then what else? Oh, well, I mean, one of my favorite stories of all time was. I've told you before about my friend we refer to as the Dick Shower, because he's had so many incidences in his life that involve him showing his penis to other people. He was kicked out of one of my roommates kicked him out of a party at our Manasquan house because he presented his penis to a bunch of the women who were present. Which, look, the guy's got a great big cock, so I don't think you can blame someone with a huge dick for wanting to get the word out. But anyway, my buddy was not happy. So he forcibly ejected the Dick Shower from the premises. And then a short time later, I believe that same summer, said Dick Shower was arrested for taking his penis out in a New York City Bank of America vestibule. You know that strip club? I believe Cheetahs. Cheetahs or VIP. One of them. There's an ATM down the street. Well, that fucking helps. There's an ATM down the street in Manhattan. There's an ATM vestibule on every block in Manhattan. I'm a fucking asshole. No, but I guess he was getting cash in between rounds at the strip club, and a hooker followed him in and propositioned him while he was getting cash out, and he took his dick out to impress the hooker, and there was a vice cop outside who had been tailing the hooker because I guess she was pretty well known for working the neighborhood. Because you figure, yeah, there's guys, you got married guys with cash who are all rotted up leaving the strip club, and they hate their wives. They don't want to go home to them. They're like, fuck it, let me get my cock sucked in an alley for $40 or whatever the fucking, I don't know what the going rate is. That's probably too much for an alley blowjob. What do you pay, 10, 15? With inflation, maybe 20. But yeah, so he takes it out. The vice cop comes in, and ipso facto, he spends the weekend in the Tombs. Anyway, he was taking a shit one night on this house up the block from us, because I guess they just didn't like the kids. Kids growing up were kind of like jerk offs, so they used to fuck with him by shitting on the lawn. And my brother ding dong ditches the house while he is he's taking the shit. So he has a log hanging out of his ass, and he hears my brother ring the bell, and my brother runs by laughing, and all of a sudden he's got to get up in a full from a full squat as this loaf just gets pinched off, trailing behind him, and he's hobbling across the street with his pants halfway down back to his home, and announces that he's prairie dogging, and I guess his father could hear the commotion from across the street in the middle of the night, and yells out the window, "What are you prairie dogging?" Which is great, because unbeknownst to him, this meant that his son and his friend, while he slept just feet away, were terrorizing the neighbors by ding-dong ditching their home and taking a shit on the front lawn. Good times. And I do love a good comedic shitting, which I will always support shitting for the purposes of entertainment, which I should, because I bitched about New York City at the beginning of the show because homeless guys are threatening to, are taking shits all over the place. And here I am supporting all of these public shittings in my own hometown. So which is it, Mikey boy? The answer is, I think a one-off public shitting, like these shittings were all spread out by several years, right? In Manhattan, these shittings are happening in multitudes every day. So that's one thing. Also, in each of these shittings, the culprit was just a fucking, like a teenage boy or like a drunk dude in his early 20s doing it for a goof, as opposed to a a cracked out homeless guy with dozens of arrests, some for violent crimes, threatening to cut people's hands off with his blade while, shouting fucking theories about, the government and whatever, QAnon and gay sex and 42nd Street. The important thing is that there is a way to shit publicly, but you need to know how to do it. It's like, I don't know. It's like something. It's like one of those, you know what it is? It's like one of those things where they say you have to know how the game is played in order to break the rules correctly. I don't know if they say that. I'm talking out of my ass here. That's not on my notes. I'm a fucking idiot. Let me stick to the script. I did want to touch on a little something before moving on here. I think people need to cut it the fuck out with motivational email signatures. And I know I'm going to say this in advance. I know Jim Florentine's big shtick is like bitching about stuff like this. So if he has done anything like this in the past, then I apologize. I'm not trying to steal it or step on it, call it parallel thinking. But I got an email at work the other day. Because Florentine's the fucking man. Who would want to steal from such a fucking boss? I got an email at work the other day, and there was a signature on the bottom that said, what's this fucking say? I can't read my own goddamn chicken scratches. Honor each other, help each other, heal each other. And I'm like, you know what? Everyone who's getting this email works for a massive corporation. You know what I mean? With the only reason we're reading your email is because we're all here for one purpose, to make money. We're just chasing fucking paper. What I don't need injected into my day is little fucking pieces of inspiration from Greg in advertising or whatever fucking department this Jamoke worked for. Greg is an alias. I don't want to give away his real name. But imagine thinking that this kind of stuff would work. Like if you were in the KKK and you got, it's a Friday, you're all jazzed up, the weekend's coming, you just got you got the robe back from the laundromat, you got a cross burning plan. It's Friday night. The fellas are all gonna meet down at the Roadhouse, throw back a few suds, and then take part in a good old-fashioned cross burning. But just before you're about to punch out, some guy emails you about a piece of paperwork, and you go to send him the scanned requested documents, and then you see his email signature says, honor each other, help each other, heal each other. And you say, you know what? I'm going to call up the Grand Wizard and cancel. I'm going to donate my next paycheck to the NAACP, all because of your powerful signature. I'm out of the clan. Thank you for the inspiration, colleague. Yeah. Do you think, like those two lawyers, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there were two lawyers from Brooklyn who threw a fucking Molotov cocktail into a squad car? Do you think if someone had sent them an email with help each other, heal each other, honor each other, do you think they would have thought twice about launching a flaming projectile at the NYPD? They're facing 20 years for it. That wasn't enough to dissuade them. These are people who understand the law. That wasn't enough to dissuade them from throwing a Molotov cocktail into an NYPD cruiser. Maybe Greg's inspirational email signature will do it. Ugh. Maybe that's why all these workplace shootings are going down. People are just sick of being fucking condescended to by the guy who's emailing them for a minor paperwork request. Shut the fuck up, Greg. I saw the mugshots of those lawyers too. I think one of them was a chick, maybe both. I think it was a dude and a chick. I would love to bang an Antifa chick. Not like the ugly fatties who have been in Antifa since college, but like one of those big bushed, like armpit hair, skinny Brooklyn vegan chicks who just gets all fired up because she's been watching MSNBC and listening to Chapo Trap House every day, and she thinks that fucking Rachel Maddow has her convinced that Trump is the energy, so she's just all fired up with this, like, kind of horny anger, so she hits the streets and throws a telephone pole through the window of fucking Goldman Sachs or whatever the fuck these nut jobs are out in the streets doing. That kind of I feel like that kind of chick would break your dick off in bed. I may not agree with her political positions, and I probably want to see her jailed for destroying private property and ruining people's lives, but in 20 years, it would be cool to look back and be like, yeah, that was great. I banged this hot Antifa chick. She was twisting my scrotum until I admitted my privilege, and she cleaned up my load with the charred remains of an American flag that she had torched in Washington Square Park earlier in the day. It was sexy as fuck. Yeah, you got to do it, right? Sexy. I think it would be a fun side job. I can't write fiction to save my fucking life, but it would be fun, I feel like, to write a series of erotic novels like that based on different eras in American history. I'm sure they're out there. Like, I'm sure there's one about a U.S. spy posing as an SS officer, and he meets a severe, large-breasted German woman who walks him on a leash and makes him shit on the floor and then steps in the shit and makes you clean it off of her boots with your tongue. They do that in Germany. Nuts. That's why they didn't think the concentration camps were that bad. That's why I bet. When the German villagers are like, we had no idea anything weird was going on, the Germans are just into such weird, collared, chained, shitting all over the place stuff that they were like, I don't know, the barbed wire, yeah, it looks, I don't know, barbed wire and pajamas, that's just their kink, and that's what's happening. Fucking weirdos. Fucking Germans. What else could you... maybe a Boston barmaid who seduces a British general. She ties him naked to a bed, and she cuts up his chest, makes a bunch of paper cuts with stamps that were imported into the colonies after being smuggled around the taxes levied under the Stamp Act, and then she pours hot tea on him that's made from tea leaves that were stolen from a British ship sitting in the harbor. History can be very sexy stuff. I like it. I'm down. Much, much spicier with the inclusion of women who will kill you in bed. I feel like people would pay more attention in history class growing up if they threw a little bit of fucking in there. Instead of telling us that it was a racial justice that Thomas Jefferson had children with Sally Hemings, give us the erotic version. Let us hear how it went down. That's what I say. Second Amendment, Thomas Jefferson, the right to bear a cock. Yeah. So anyway, I do get a very sexy "I will kill you" vibe from this new North Korean chick, Kim Yo Jong. She's not hot. She has very high cheekbones and fair skin. I prefer a tan. She needs a tan, but there's something like scary sexy about her. Like, you probably have to eat her pussy at knife point. That kind of thing. Like, they just kill you for anything in North Korea. I feel like you walk in wearing the wrong shoes to a government officials meeting and they just execute you for fun. Yeah. But I don't know, tip of the cap to them for having a female ruler, right? Maybe North Korea is a little more progressive than we thought. I don't see... We haven't had a female president in the United States. We elected a pussy grabber instead. Look at North Korea. Female in charge. Say what you will. Speaking of progressive leadership, Jerry Falwell Jr. stepping down as the president of Liberty University. So they say he was involved. It was some sort of I guess it was a swinging or a cuckolding thing. It was him, his wife, and the pool boy from the Fountain Blue, Miami. The Fountain Blue is it's a luxury hotel in Miami. I don't know if it's a worldwide chain or just in Miami, but 20 years old, this kid, and I guess he's chatting up some ladies his own age, and the wife, Jerry Falwell's wife, Becky Falwell, Becky with an I, so you know she's a slut, comes up and tells him, you need someone with more experience. Which, I have a couple thoughts on this. But first, can you just imagine, when I was 20 years old, I had a summer job working retail. And I was going to a very tiny liberal arts college in Pennsylvania where the level of prudishness was so outstanding that you had to hang out with a chick for like 2 weeks before you'd even get to make out with her. And then you'd have like another like 2 weeks of like making out with her and sucking her tits and like maybe like rubbing her pussy a little bit before she'd let you fuck her. Like, this was just, and it was the way, and it's not like this is just like, you know, my own experience, like I couldn't, you know, figure out the fucking secret code out there. This was literally every single dude at Muhlenberg College was like, yeah, you got to put in a month worth of work to fuck a chick here. It was like, ridiculous. You blow half your fucking semester working on banging one chick. It's just fucking absurd. And this little jerk-off's down at the Fountain Blue, skimming the pool, talking to, rich 20-year-old chicks his own age who are on vacation there from Italy or Spain or Switzerland or wherever the fuck, wearing tiny little thong bikinis with their hot little ass cheeks hanging out. Because this is like 7 years ago. So this is like 2013, 2012, at the height of like the EDM craze, and Miami is just like the place to go for shit like Ultra. He's having a great time. And then one day, during his shift, this rich-ass fucking milfy middle-aged chick comes up to him and invites him to her hotel room for a nice stuffing. Just what a great thing to happen for a 20-year-old. Can you just lucky little cocksucker? Like, that is, I mean, just a tip of the cap to the writers for the year 2020 for giving a nod to the MILF porn genre, because this kid pretty much lived out the plot of every Reality Kings video under the MILF tab that I have ever seen. I mean, that dialogue is straight out of My First Sex Teacher or My Friend's Hot Mom or MILF Next Door is a lesbian series, but you know exactly what I'm saying. So she takes him upstairs to the room, and they're about to fuck, and she says, "My husband likes to watch," and that's when the good Reverend Falwell emerges in a Speedo, and I guess he would. This would go on for 7 years. He would either watch in person or he would watch the video afterwards. And if that's not the only thing, apparently old Jerry is a dirty, dirty boy, because he was texting the pool boy's name, and I love this. His name is Giancarlo. My notes are fucking chicken scratches. Giancarlo Garda, I think. Guarda. Whatever the fuck, it's Giancarlo something Italian or Hispanic. He sounds like a shortstop prospect for the Mets. Like, I could see it. That's like the kind of name you'd see in the New York Post or the Daily News sports section every day. Mike Lupica writing about it. Like, the Mets expected to call up Giancarlo Garda for this afternoon's game against the Phillies. But yeah, this lucky little cocksucker. Not only is he's banging the Reverend's wife, but the Rev is also sending him dirty pictures of female Liberty University students flashing clam for the camera. What fun. Just a good time. You know, as long as and I know people, people have their fucking opinions about this kind of shit, but as long as no one is being mistreated, extorted, or otherwise taken advantage of, and I know probably what they're saying is there's some sort of financial dealings that got a little tricky here, which that's another thing. Separate that from the perversion. Here's the thing. People like to fuck. There are guys out there who enjoy watching their wives get fucked by hung young pool boys, right? They jerk up. Maybe some of them are big time freaks. They help, lubricate the rod a little bit. They clean up they hoover up the cream pie. That's just what they do. It's not for me, but if it's your thing, then go for it. And Florida is one of those big. I feel like Florida and Arizona is where you find a lot of this, and then Nebraska or like Kansas. There's a couple amateur porn sites. They're called, I think it's like Desperate Amateurs and Private Society. There's one more. Nebraska Coeds. That's it. And they're all just amateurish. I'm sure everyone's paid, and you can answer an ad if you want to star in one. But they're amateurish porns just featuring like regular looking people getting together for fucking group sex or to fuck on camera in hotel rooms. So what I'm telling you is that people like to fuck, and a lot of people in the South. There's a Corona drinking fucking big fake titty culture down there where people do a lot. I bet if I would wager that if you're a reasonable looking, well-built dude and you go out to a bar in Tampa, Florida, if you spend a week on vacation in Tampa, Florida, eventually someone is going to come up to you and ask if you want to bang their wife while they jack off and watch in the corner. Like, it just happens. Like, one of the things that I used to do when I would get bored and be like waiting for a train or a bus is I would go into Craigslist and I would scroll through the lesbian casual encounter section, because you'd often see a lot of like really like dirty shit in there, and it's just like fun to watch and get you're bored, you get a little chub going, and you enjoy thinking about naughty things. But if you go to places like Tampa or like Palm Springs, wherever in like particularly the coastal South and then in the Southwest, you run into a lot of couples where there's like a milfy looking wife, a husband who looks like he spends a lot of time in the sun, does a shitload of bicep curls, loves to get hammered and watch the NFL on Sunday, and maybe his dick doesn't work 100% unless he takes a bunch of Viagra, but he is just him and his wife are just pervs, and they're down for anything. They go to fucking orgies and they swap, and he likes to see a 20-year-old guy just fucking pump his wife's cheeks, and that's what people are into. And I don't think it's not for you to begrudge someone just because they like to fuck around with that. Like, obviously, with a there's an added wrinkle here, which for Falwell is that this kind of thing doesn't fly professionally, and he's a preacher or a reverend or whatever, so as he's an evangelical, I think, so he is probably, pushed for like holier than thou legislation that affects what people can't do with their bodies and etc. and shit. So I think what people are probably really latching on to here, of course, is the hypocrisy that someone who thumps the Bible and demands that you fear God by day is fucking watching his wife get cream pied by the fountain blue pool boy by night, and or actually it sounds like it happened during the day, which is even freakier. So even more, you know what? Fucking, you'd be pissed off at them all you want for championing like anti-abortion legislation or being anti-gay or whatever the fuck these Bible thumpers do. But you know what? Let me tell you something. There is a special place in my heart for any couple whose idea of a good time is going out in the middle of the day and double teaming the fucking pool boy. All right? You know what? Yeah, good. Enjoy. Yeah, I'm sure he's got plenty of fucking cash sitting around. He's got that, what's that HBO, that hilarious HBO show about the about the fucking church family. I forget what the fuck it's called, but they got that kind of cash. They got that rich that like Joel Osteen cash. But go out, come, have fun. You know what I mean? Swing, wife swap, watch the fucking watch the Cabana Boy bang your wife all you want. That doesn't make you a bad person. You know, he likes to fuck. He likes to get drunk on boats with sluts, and his wife's a MILF freak who loves young cock. Don't get mad about that. We are a nation of prudes. We're a nation of prudes and cockblocks, and I don't like that. I'm a fucking perv. I'm not gonna eat the fucking cream pie out of my wife's snatch. That's not for me. But if I was just like casually dating a chick and she was like, hey, there's a big swingers party going down, you can bang me, and then you can pass me off to someone else, and then you can bang that guy's chick, and by the way, there's gonna be a buffet there, so after everyone blows a big load on all of our fucking bellies, you go over and you eat some chicken wings. That's fun, isn't it? You have a beer, you have some wings, yeah, big glass of coconut water, get rehydrated while the ladies wipe the jizz off their tummies. That's fun. I was once used, I believe anyway. I believe after the fact I figured this out. And I've told the story before, so I'll keep it relatively brief. But I used as the bull in a cuck fetish, surreptitiously. I was not aware. I was in D.C. and we were out in... there's this section of D.C. called Adams Morgan, so we'd come up from Quantico on the weekends, like it was me and my buddies, and we'd go out, and my buddies had all kind of like paired off with chicks, and I was by myself, and I was like cruising across the dance floor, just kind of drinking in hand, scoping out the scene, just getting fucking shithoused, and all of a sudden I see this Indian chick, and we kind of lock eyes, and we start dancing, and we make out on like this bench over by the wall, and she invites me back to her hotel room. So, like, obviously, I'm not going to say no to this. It's the only Indian chick I've ever banged, by the way, which, regrettably, I live in Jersey City. I should step my game up there. Who doesn't want to bang an Indian chick? They weigh like 95 pounds, and they got, the hot ones have just fucking great skin, sexy faces. Yeah, bang an Indian chick. But anyway, she takes me in, and I peel off. I did take a piss. I peel off into the bathroom right to the right, because the bathroom's always right there when you walk into a hotel room. And I get out, I step out of the bathroom, and she leads me over to the far bed. And the lights are off, so I'm not paying attention to what, is going on elsewhere in the room. And I have a naked Indian chick leading me by the hand to her bed, and I'm like, popping my clothes off because she's already she's not naked, she's in her fucking undies, and we start to go at it, and we're fucking going, like we're 69ing, we're fucking doggy styling on the on top of the covers, like we're fucking riding it. I busted part of the load inside of her and dribbled a little bit on top of her clit and belly. It was just a good fun romp. And so I go to take a piss, and by this point it's like 4:30, probably close to 5 in the morning, and I'm kind of sobering up and realizing that I just raw dogged a strange chick who took me back to her hotel room from a nightclub in a big city. So I'm like, I really hope I don't have AIDS right now. So I go to the bathroom to wash my dick off with soap and hot water, as though that will be the thing that prevents me from getting Kaposi's sarcoma in a few weeks. And I come out, and the light's on, and this fucking dude is just he appears to be asleep on the other bed in the room. It turns out it was a 2-bed hotel room. He appears to be fully clothed but asleep, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, she's like, oh, that's just my friend Ravi. He really wants me, but I won't let him fuck me. And at the time, I took that at face value because I didn't really know what a cuck fetish was. What cuck porn wasn't really big when I was like growing up. Like you would just kind of you jack off to run of the mill stuff, like a dude banging a chick, or a little bit of lesbian stuff, or the odd milf here or there. You weren't really, because the wonder of internet porn was kind of just being just coming to life. You were still so excited to see just run-of-the-mill stuff in mass quantity on your computer that there was no reason to go looking for anything too deviant. Like, we'd look for really super fucked up stuff if, like, you wanted to use it as a goof, or if you were just, like, cruising porn all day. Like, I remember we hacked onto the porn sites on the school computers, and we'd put on, there was this website called Tranny Surprise, which was like, it was like this website where a dude would go home with a chick, and she'd take her pants off, and a cock would pop out, and that was the you were surprised by the tranny. So we would just leave that running on the computer with the volume down. We'd leave it running on the computer in the back of the science room, or like the library, so that the next person to come up and use it would see some confused dude with a circle beard and big fucking biceps and pecs sucking a tranny, just a mouthful of boy cock or fucking girl cock, whatever. But yeah, I didn't realize what a cuck fetish was at the time, so I'm just like, I just thought that this was like some guy who was going to be pissed off that he just banged his chick, so I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I went and I passed out in the lobby until I was awoken by the sound of a school field trip getting ready to go see the Washington Monument, and then a security guard. I was like doing the old, you just fucking wake up out of, like, and you're groggy and you're kind of shaking the cobwebs out. A security guard informed me that I would not be allowed to spend any more time on the lobby couch, and escorted me to the front door. But yeah, no, look, I don't begrudge them. I don't think I was Me Too'd. I was used as a dildo, and it was a lot of fun. The point is, if you're a normal person, then you should love to come. And if you love to come, then you understand that the Falwells just have their thing. It's what they're into. And, if that bothers you, if you're too prude for any of this shit, then what I would suggest is get a little weed, you get some coke, you get some Viagra. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you that it's safe to combine any of this shit, but I am telling you that I've had fun doing it. And you find some sex toys, some porn. Maybe you get yourself a pool boy, or maybe a nice au pair, or like the captain of the cheerleading squad just graduated, and she's living in town while she goes to community college to get her credits up because she spent too much time giving passenger seat hand jobs and not enough time reading Beowulf to get good grades in English class, to get accepted to a real college. So she's home for freshman year, and maybe she wants to play around with you and your wife. Maybe that flirty barista that you get your coffee from every morning, and you and your spouse, you team up with them, and you have some group fun, and you see where the evening goes, as it were. Right? What's the worst case scenario? You get AIDS? Come on. It's basically cured anyway. That's what I want to leave you with today. AIDS is basically cured anyway, so you may as well get out there and come all over the place. And with that, I'm going to take a sip of this beer, which I have neglected and is now getting warm. We bring this week's episode of the Savage Sack Tap to its conclusion. If you would like to check out the live stream here, it's facebook.com/The Savage Crew. I love Twitter. I'm usually pretty active on there. Twitter, @Mike Montone. Instagram, I don't spend that much time on, but it is @Gary_Moyler, Moyler. And where else am I? Oh, meatheadmedia.com is where you can find, I do a bit of blogging and some other shit, so if you want to check more out there, go to meatheadmedia.com and take a look, and the podcast and everything is is there. So do that. And please, if you enjoyed this, I'm not spending a lot of time promoting the show just because I have more important things. Like I work for a real show that is big and requires my like full attention. So I don't like promote this aggressively or market it. But if you do like this show, if you like what I'm doing, please just take the link, send it to 3 friends, share it on Facebook, tweet it, whatever. Tell some people. If someone says I need podcasts to listen to, I listen to podcasts, tell them to check out the Savage Sack Tap and just shoot them a link or recommend some social pages, and we'll get some more listeners out there. This is the most downloads we've had in a month in quite some time this month, and we're not even done yet. So thank you guys for those of you who tuned in on the live stream tonight. It was nice being with you here and enjoying the early evening. I'm going to go watch the Mets have the second half of a doubleheader against the Yankees once this rain clears up. They won the first one like 6-4, 7-4, some shit. You guys have a great weekend finishing out your summer there. Have fun, and I'll smell you later. Bye-bye.